Congratulations to you both. Thanks for joining us here. Ken, maybe we'll start with you and tell us what's going through your mind.
Start with Chad while I catch my breath.
All right, you catch your breath. And we'll turn you loose in a minute. But Chad, just an incredible run. Just take us through the race to start.
I was quite concerned early that she fell pretty far back, and I wasn't sure how quick the pace would be. And she was wide in that first turn and far behind. The two things you don't want in a turf race at 2 turns. And but I made a bold decision down the backside to make up for lost position early and creep up the inside, which I felt was very risky at the time. You could fall behind a wall, the horse to turn for home, and luckily the seas parted and he had a ton of horse under him, and just so proud of her the way she kicked home.
Even with all the major wins she's had, I mean, were you a little taken aback by the turn of foot that she had there and in the way that she closed?
The way she's been training, no, but she just overcomes so much, this filly, from the difficult draw today, falling way out of position early, and 2 things that we sort of learned about her through time was she didn't care for Keeneland's turf course, and she doesn't run inside of horses, and she did it all today. And right, Ken, and she did it all. Those were the things that we've learned about her, and she did everything opposite today, and still showed the art of a true champion to overcome all that and win. Really proud of her.
Can you tell us what she's meant to your barn?
She's meant a lot. Just the confidence that Mr. and Mrs. Ramsey have in me and my staff to move Barnes and move her over to us. And then initially her first couple starts weren't very good, and I can tell you, being a public trainer, that 9 times out of 10 that horse is going to move again when a decision's made, it doesn't work out. And Ken had a talk with me. He says, listen, you're going to train her until she's retired, period, and you're going to get her going good again. I have confidence in you, and we're going to do it. And it's pretty humbling. Someone shows you that kind of confidence when you're down and you can't figure your horse out. That's a previous Breeders' Cup winner, and all that patience and confidence paid off, and we got it right.
All right, Ken, I'd like to turn to you. What a climax to this incredible mare's career. What are you feeling right now?
I just like to say well spoken by a future Hall of Famer. Well spoken. We'll echo all that. Well, these kitten joys come from last to first. We did it last year with Bobby's kitten. When he crossed the dirt track in a 6.5 furlong out of Santa Anita sprint, he was dead last. One of those closing bursts, and got the money. And basically she did the same thing today. I kind of echo what Chad had to say. I was a little bit concerned when I saw her back that far, but last to first, great ride with the jockey. He used his smarts, and he is going to be in the Hall of Fame himself. This Irad Ortiz is really a good jockey. He's right up there with John Velasquez, Javier Castellana, and all the good ones that are running up there in New York now. But what can I say about that the mare's not already been said? She had a bit of sort of a tough luck career. There's a lot of seconds on there that could have been ones with just a head bob or 2 or a little more pace in the race. But today she went out in the blaze of glory. We're very proud of her.
And one of those seconds was last year. So is it safe to say that you started pointing to this race essentially at the end of last year's filly and mare turf?
That's exactly right. I saw Chad after the race last time, and I said next year or the next time we might need to have a rabbit in there with her, make sure they're on his pace up front. But today everything broke perfectly, and Chad, we tried a rabbit the first couple times. It didn't really work out. It's not that we wouldn't try one, but he said I don't think we need one with her. So I trust Chad's judgment. He's come a long way since he used to be an apprentice with Bobby Frankel.
And Ken, you are synonymous at this point with Kentucky racing, and especially Keeneland. So what does it feel like to win this race here at the Breeders' Cup at Keeneland?
I'd say this puts it right up there with the Dubai World Cup and the Whitney Stakes, where we won with Roses in May. Tom Durkin gave one of the greatest calls I ever heard in that particular race. So that was a real thrill. We didn't know if he got there or didn't get there. It was a higher, just barely made it. And when we got down there, and I remember, Mrs. Whitney being in the winner's circle in the champagne room, and that was kind of prophetic the way it turned out. We got to meet the Whitneys, and I don't want to be disrespectful. We call her Murray Lou. She helped my wife out when she had the stroke. Flew a doctor in and all that down to Miami to help her out, and we named a filly. Thank you, Murray Lou, who never ran in anything except a stake race, except her last race. So she's retired now. So two good broodmares coming up here. Stephanie's kitten, who's probably going to find a new home, and thank you, Murray Lou.
Fantastic. Now I'd like both of you just to talk about the quality of this field and so many great European fillies and mares in this field. talk about what it feels like to triumph over such a great international field that we saw here today. Chad, starting with you.
Yeah, a really strong field. You know, Legatissimo particularly we have a lot of respect for, and some other ones that were in there are just have fantastic form from Europe. And, you know, it's the real spirit of the Breeders' Cup international competition at its finest. And on this day, it was a Kentucky-bred horse just miles from where she was born that came out victorious. And I just think it's a great story. She beat everyone. She beat all the best today.
Yeah.
Well, the Europeans, it sort of favors them when they got a little cut in the track, which you well know that, you know, had a few showers here of recently. But I'm still emotional about the fact that we named it after Stephanie's kitten. I'll tell a little story about we got another filly called Ava's kitten. So if she wins this thing next year on a race, Chad will kind of know how I'm feeling with my granddaughter Stephanie. But it's been a family pet all the way through, and a lot of agonizing over what to do with it, not to do with it. But the first one I had was Bell Out Becky, and we named it after my granddaughter Becky. We still have her, and I wanted to sell her. I was offered $1 million for her a couple times, and my wife said no, we're going to keep Bell Out Becky, and she was right. Fortunately, we kept her, and one of our daughters produced Stephanie's kitten. So if we'd unloaded her for $1 million or whatever at the time we could have, I wouldn't be sitting up here today. So thank you, Sarah Catherine. I appreciate it. I don't call her Sarah Catherine. I call her kitten.
Of course. Do we have questions for? Yes, Tom.
After Wavell Avenue 1, Mr. Michael Dubbs said, anything is possible with Chad Brown. Now, you have won 2 Breeders' Cup races in a row. And making a comment on Stephanie's kitten, you said she did things today she normally does not like to do.
Yeah.
What do you attribute it to? Her spirit, her strength, or your training skill?
I'd say just her overall quality and class. You know, when you're lucky enough to train horses at this level, you really get to the cream of the crop, the true champion horses. And those horses can overcome a lot of things. And we saw that today with this filly. Her record was poor on Keeneland's turf course in the past. And she had shown a tendency to lug in when she's on the inside of horses. And several top jockeys told me that have ridden her, you don't want to go inside with her when the running starts. And to overcome those two things, and then just really, she couldn't have had worse position in the first turn coming out of there. I'm just so proud of her. And I'll add to what Michael Dubbs said. I'll add to that nothing's possible without Chad Brown's staff on top of that. And, it's great to get all the accolades and all, but, I have 110 employees right now that work for me. And all of them do it primarily because they love working with horses first. And hopefully they love working for me. And it's a team effort, and everyone has their duties, and we split them up. And my duties are just a very small fraction of it. And if everyone on that team didn't execute their specific job, this horse wouldn't be here today in the winner's circle, and none of these wins that you see our barn have would be there. I mean that.
I'd just like to throw in that his groom on Stephanie's kitten today won the Best Turned Out Award, which is a prize of $500. And I think maybe I'll tip him $100 myself.
There you go.
Good omens. You
The
look
whole
that good.
operation's on fire.
It goes to show you the care they take on that note, the Best Turnout Award, things like that, and how much care they take of these animals to make them the healthiest they can be, look the best they can, and it's those little attentions to detail, I believe, is the difference on big days.
We have a question from the press box. Sherry.
Chad, you won 3 Breeders' Cup races last year and 2 this year. What does that success mean to you as a trainer, a horseman?
Thank you. It means so much because of all the hard work we put in, 7 days a week, and a lot of people traveling around away from their families, me included. And you do it all to get to these big days, these Breeders' Cup races, Triple Crown races, anything that's, at the very pinnacle of the game. And when you're able to have success with everybody here and everyone lining up their best horses against you, it just means so much. It's an incredible feeling.
Means a lot to the owners, too, because I like to put myself in good company, and if I got the best riders riding for me, best trainers training for me, makes me look good. Very good.
Lenny.
Chad, we talked the other day, and you said that autumn is the time when this mare likes to come around. how much of her success today was the ground, and how much of it is the autumn? And can you explain why that is with some of these fillies and mares? I take it in particular.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the ground really helped her. The moisture in the ground really helped her today. And in addition to that, in the second half of her career, when we've had her in our care, she has come along in the fall as the season's gone on. Sometimes there's questions you don't get answered training horses. If it's working out, you just go with it. I don't know if it's the cooler weather, if there's something with the length of the days, or that's just in her personality. I'm not really sure, but it's become a pattern now, and we won't be able to test it next year because she's done. So.
Talk about her personality. What kind of
She's a really she loves to train this filly, and she's a real consistent horse training in the morning. She can be a little grumpy at times. She'll try to cow kick you if you get in her space. And as we've gotten to know her and she's gotten to know us, we respect her space and we've learned how to work around her. Not a mean bone in her body. Just she's a dominant horse, and whenever she's in the presence of any of our employees or other horses in the walking ring, she's clearly the boss all the time, and she deserves to be.
Any final questions? All right, one more from Tom.
Another for trainer Chad Brown. Are you continuing with the philosophy of shipping them only a few days before the big race, not getting here too early?
It's something my mentor taught me, Bobby. He over and over again I saw him execute that plan, and more often than not they ran really well on the big days doing that. I guess there's some special circumstances where we would go in early to train over a specific surface, maybe in a dirt race. There's certain tracks around the country. He would share with me that would be the only time he would do it, but he was always a believer in if you're comfortable in your home base and those horses are comfortable in that environment, the training is so important leading up to those races. You want to get the most you can out of that training, out of those exercises, and it's best done in an environment that everyone's comfortable with, both the staff and the horses. So we've always shipped in as close to the race as we can.
Chad Brown, Ken and Sarah Ramsey, congratulations to you. What a way to go out. Stephanie's Kitten, winner of the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming
We got
down.
a pocket full of tickets we got to distribute out. All winning tickets.
I'm right here.
I got the button. You got the tickets.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good job, Chad.